And we'll set.
All right, so regular scheduled meeting of the Finance Committee, it's June 17th at 6:27. I'm Councilor Tremble, Chair of the committee. We have committee members, Councilor Howard, you're on the committee, right? No, okay. Okay, all right, she wrote down for me, all right. Councilor Foy is on the committee, Councilor Leonard, and Councilor Dean, right? And then we also have Councilor Fish here, and Councilor Schaefer, Councilor Hawes, as well as Councilor Pelletier. So first item is bids, and we have a finance director approval. First item is bids and purchasing.
All right, first item tonight is concrete repairs at the treatment plant for water quality. This is our structures, which were originally constructed back in 1992. They're starting to show aging and some cracking. So we did go out to bid for the crack repair on the concrete. We received two bids, one for $175,200 and one for $604,000. So our recommendation is to go with the low bidder, Gordon Contracting. Our educated guess on the difference in the pricing is that the other bidder does not own the equipment necessary. They would have to rent the equipment, and there would also be some subcontracting that they would have to do. Gordon Contracting has all of the equipment, and they do this exact type of work on bridges already, so they're familiar with what the material is and the repairs themselves. So that is what appears to be the answer for the large discrepancy in the pricing. We've used Gordon Contracting in the past. We have no issues with them. All of their work has been excellent. So we would like to move forward and contract with Gordon Contracting for $175,200.
All right, the motion on this item, or any questions?
Make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. This without any objection has approval.
Thank you. The next item is for resurfacing Hammond Street. This is from Hammond Street Extension to the Hermantown line. We did go out to bid. There was two bids that were proposed. One for $384,840 from B&B Paving and $598.60 from Northeast Paving. It's a main DOT managed project, and it had a budget of $445. So they were, the low bid is under the budget, and our recommendation is to go with the low bidder, B&B Paving, for $384,840. It's included within our budget, and with approval, this would go to council next week.
All right, you got a motion on this item.
So moved. Second.
So moved and seconded. This will have approval with no objections.
Thank you. Our next item is from Community and Economic Development. This is for consulting work for the land use plan related to the comprehensive plan from 2022. Again, we put out a bid. We received two proposals with pricing from $172,910 with a not to exceed $200,000 and a price of $194,500, also not to exceed price. And that's because once you get into these consulting works, you're not really sure what you're going to get into. So there needed to be a cap on how much we were going to, the total project would be. Staff met with both companies to look at their background and their experience. The recommendation is to go with Camaros Limited, which is the higher bidder at $194,500, mainly because they had more experience working with municipalities with different range sizes and geography. And Orion Planning and Design, the other bidder, did not have that experience. And they had no experience working in Maine, where Camaros has also done work within Maine itself. Camaros also has experience in climate change mitigation related to land use codes. So they seem to have a lot more of the experience that we would want in redeveloping our land use plan. Funding for the project is sort of a combination of funds. There is some carry forward funds in a capital plan for economic development. There is money included in the 2025 budget that's been discussed already. And there's also some carry forward funds from previous years for economic development, that has not been used up yet. So the combination of those three, can pay for the entire 194,500. So we would like permission to move forward with a contract with Camaros to start work on the land development code in relation to the 2022 comprehensive plan.
Any questions on this item? Or motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Moving second, and this now falls under our authority, doesn't need.
Yes, this falls, so it will not. need
What's
to
the
go to
limit
full council.
here right now?
250,000.
All right, without any objections, has approval.
Thank you. Our next item is for two plow trucks. Hopefully everyone got there was an error on the original agenda. On the cover sheet, I had put in the wrong company that these were awarded to. It is Freightliner. We did go out to bid. We received 4 bids from 3 companies. Freightliner submitted two bids. The bids ranged from different types of vehicles and different types of plows, so bodies and chassis, but after staff looked at it at Public Works, the end result was Freightliner for the purchase. The 2 plow trucks came in from them with 468,679, being the low bid. The high bid was 546,926. We have no issues with Freightliner. We have no issue with the plow gear that they're proposing to put onto those vehicles. And at 468,679, it came in $11,000 under our estimated budget, which was nice to see. So with your approval, we will go forth and bring this to full council next week for purchase of 2 plow trucks from Freightliner for 468,679.
Make a motion.
Second, I see Aaron's still here, so he might know the answer to this question. Just curious, how many years do we expect to have a plow truck? And the plow rigging doesn't last longer than the truck, so we have to get new plows when we get new trucks.
Yes, they're both worn out. At the same time, we do a 10-year replacement cycle.
All right, thank you. So moved and seconded without any objection, this item has passed. Thanks.
Our next item is a request for a 1-year extension on the external audit contract. During our contract with the external auditors, we had a 6-year contract that expired with the fiscal year 23 audit. With staff turnover in purchasing, our purchasing coordinator position was vacant last year. We missed that we needed to go out to bid. And preliminary work on the 2024 audit begins next week. So we don't have time to put out a bid. So our request is for a 1-year extension with Runyon Kirstein Ouellette, RKO, our current auditing firm, again, who have been with us for a number of years. And their proposal was for $120,000 for the 1-year extension. That's about a slight increase over the current proposal. The current one is about 114, based on a couple of new accounting standards that require significant additional testing. The 120 was not unreasonable. So our request is to grant the extension and move forward with RKO for this upcoming audit, and we will go out to bid during the calendar year, fiscal year, for beginning with the city's 2025 audit forward with the new contract. In case there's any questions, I did receive information from them today. Our audit, it should be going, our 23 audit should be going to tech review, which is typically the final step before it can be issued. So I'm anticipating final review questions being submitted to me this week.
Council Pelletier.
Not a voting member of this committee, but I have a concern that we are still waiting for the audit, and yet we're about to potentially approve an extension of contract with additional funds for the next year. Like this, the service that we have received on this, from my perspective, is unacceptable. We're about to finalize a budget for the next year without knowing what the audit is, and I realize there are lots of reasons why. But I have concerns about renewing for another year with this firm without some sort of assurances that the upcoming audit that we'll do for 24 is completed on time. It, it's
Right,
egregious at this
it's,
point.
right, to address that, it's not all of it was on them for this upcoming budget. There was delays on the city side as well due to staffing. They had delays with also a loss of staffing. I did talk to them and said that this is gonna be a conversation. And they have indicated to me that they have replaced the staff that they have lost. Assuming that the city provides the information in a timeline that they are used to getting prior to the last few years. That they have no concerns that the audit will not be finished on time like it has been prior to 2020. And that's really when our impact, which impacted staff here at the city. So we were delayed in getting information to them. This year is, yes, I agree, it's a significant issue. There were some significant delays on both the city and the school side, getting them their information. And then they suffered the same types of losses that we had in staffing, which has created an issue on their side. But I did have that conversation with them. I have no reason not to believe this is the first year that the delay is sort of on both sides versus just on the city side. So I have no reason not to believe that if we do our part, they will do their part.
Council Item?
I completely concur with Councilor Pelletier. I would also further add, this begs a after action report, regardless of what the problems, where they stem from, whether it was from the school committee or the city or the RKO. I would like to see what caused this audit to be so delayed that we're only going to get it at the end of the budget season, if that makes sense.
Any other comments? Council Dean?
I 100% agree with both of the counselors and their, I think this warrants a little more discussion. Does this have to be decided tonight? And then if we decided not to go with them, what are our options?
If we decide not to go with them and you want us to go out to bid for a new auditing firm, this year's audit will not be done on time. Because it will take several months to, at least 2 months to go out to bid and pick a new firm. And then they will have to come in and learn and do that work.
Is there any reason to think that the city would be behind next year? Do you have everything in order that you feel it would be a much more timely submission?
That is our anticipation, yes.
What is the normal timeline? When do-
Typically, we issue financial statements by the end of December. The last few years, it was the prior 2 years were in March. This year, the auditors were given a full set of what we felt was the last or the final copy of the audit in March. I will say that there were two, not looking to state any types of excuses, but factors that fell into this audit was two significant new pronouncements from the accounting standards boards that required a lot of significant testing information that was sent to them for review and our review. That not saying that was necessarily an excuse, but it certainly was a factor. Some years there's no pronouncement, so there's nothing new that needs to get done. This year there was quite a bit of new stuff and new work that had to get done, that had to be factored in, and the loss of staff and issues that were both on the city side, school side, and the auditor side all made sort of a perfect storm scenario. But there's no expectation, at least as of today, that we'll have issues with this year's audit.
Council Forney?
So I think everyone's in agreement. No one likes the situation, but we need to move forward and to get into an agreement with a new firm, and we know it's going to be behind. Just for them to get up to speed. I think our hands are tied a little bit here, so I'll be in favor of moving this along.
Council Hawes?
I'm not on the committee, but I would just say that, and this has been a very reliable company over the years.
Yes,
As we
they've
used,
been our
we
auditor
did
for-
not have
for a
these
very-
kinds of issues. I think at this point, who did what, who said what, when it happened, we know things happened. I would agree with Councilor Forney that we do really need to proceed and get going. And typically, don't you have like you have a pre-planning meeting with the auditors anyway before you?
Right,
Start?
that'll be next week.
Exactly.
Assuming this
So-
is approved, they'll be here on Monday to do their preliminary work, just like they are every year in June. And that's the kickoff. They'll meet with various departments for inventory testing and give us a list of things that need to pull, and we will begin working on that audit.
I agree. I think it will get done.
I would concur. I mean, it's not ideal situation. I don't think we have any option, but what's the time frame on RFP for it's gonna be going out for the.
Yeah, so I've already talked with our purchasing coordinator. It's on the calendar, so we'll go out to bid late in the year, November, December, to select a firm, early in the year so that they're already ready to go, and whatever new information they may need, assuming it's a different firm, before we get to next June.
All right, no other questions? Is there a doubt on this? Well, actually, is it a motion? I don't think it has yet.
I'll make a motion.
It moved, is there a second? I think we've only got you and Joe's, I think it's left the room. Hey.
I will reluctantly say.
Okay, so it is, Council, I'm just gonna write back, or, we do have a quorum, so, did you want to doubt it?
No, it's all
Okay.
right. I know
So,
we need to move
All
forward.
right, so without any objection, this item has passage.
Thank you. So our next item tonight is a council order for the allocation of $250,000 in the ARPA funding, state and local fiscal recovery funds to fund the quality housing provider program. This was discussed at the BNED meeting on June 3rd. This was to provide a mechanism for those households that have tenants that are above the 80% median income level, which once you hit that threshold, you no longer qualify necessarily for CDBG funding. So this allowed for a mechanism to fund a way for landlords to do improvements to those rental units for people who may not normally qualify. And it fits in with the council's priority to support housing and safe housing. So this program has been talked about several times. The proposal is to fund that with the ARPA money. So this council action is to allocate $250,000 for that purpose.
Any discussion on this item or a motion on this? Yeah, discussed to read previously. Motion,
So moved.
moved, is there a second?
Second,
Any, no discussion, no objection, this has passage.
All right, this will be on for new business on next week's agenda. That is all we have for the regular meeting, but we do have executive session items.
There's a motion on that, it needs to be spelled out.
sorry, I'll make a motion that we go into executive session, MRSA section 8412, hardship abatement applications.
Is there a second?
Second,
All right, Councilor Dean. Yeah, we gotta take a roll call vote.
Yes.
Councilor Dean, Councilor Fornia?
Yeah.
Councilor Leonard?
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll head to